My gang is sexy. Pardon the 3D printer running in the background. I'm printing some 1940s Normandy houses for 15mm stuff. Will I ever play it? Who knows, but I might, and I'll have some buildings if I do. But let's wrap up my Goose Green scenario. I played the 5-turn scenario, 5.2 or 5.1, what's it called here? Burntside, the Burntside house in Low Pass. Yeah, so it's 5 turns. All right, so right off the bat, if you've only got 5 turns, so you kind of got to go aggressive as the Brits, and going aggressive as the Brits in this one here is, I think, overwhelming for the Argentinians. So you've only got 3 Argentinian infantry, platoons on the board. And, of course, you've got certain areas you can place your forces in and everything, but your objectives were the Burntside house, something on this hill, something here, something there, and something there. Okay? And as you can see, the 2 X's that are marked because we took them, and the other 3 are in British control on the 5th game turn, so that's a victory. But what I found was, you've got an infantry company, I'm assuming, 3 platoons that come in over here at the start. And then everything else is up in this area here. And then you've got a platoon, I believe, that arrives in at A on the 1st turn. And then you've got some here on the road here through the Low Pass. You've got a mortar platoon, or a mortar section. You've got 3 machine gun support teams. And then you've got the HMS Arrow, which I never got his gun fixed, so I couldn't use him. But then you've got a 105 battery. All right, you have limited. The mortars have HE, smoke, and illumination, which I use the illumination heavily. The 105 only has HE. You got so many rounds. The Argentinians have unlimited, but they only have HE, from what I understand of this. So what I found was when I moved in over here off of B, I brought 1 unit in. It's nighttime. The whole thing is at nighttime. So you've got 2 hexes of visibility. So I brought 1 team in during the action phase, allowed him to get shot at, and hopefully he didn't get hit or suppressed, and he didn't. And I would flip him over to the fire side. Then I would try to do the same with the 2nd team, and hoping he didn't get hit, and get him onto his fire side. And then the 3rd platoon would try to move and rush into the infantry that I had, the Argentinian infantry I had sitting here in Burntside's house, okay? Burntside's house. So the reason why I would move these guys on and put them into fire mode, so the first guy goes in and he cannot use the overwatch that's fired on him for moving, he cannot use that to trigger, as a trigger for him to fire back, all right? So you get him on here, you put him in fire mode, and then when that 2nd unit comes on and this unit fires at him, the Argentinians fired at him, then that guy that you put on here in fire mode now, he can overwatch fire back to them. So that's why you're going to get 2 in here. You could do 1 and then have 2 move to the objective, to the close assault. Or you could put 2 in fire, get 2 on here, get them in fire mode, and let that 3rd one move to the assault. The Argentinian infantry aren't very strong in morale. And they're not the size or the effectiveness as the British para is, okay, British infantry is. And as you can see, 1st turn, I chased the Argentinians right out of here, and they just ran for the rest of the other 4 turns of the game. But they did survive, but they survived. They're only dead. They're down to 1 step. That's all they got left is 1 step. So does the Recce unit, the Argentinian Recce unit. He's down to 1 step, and the other platoon's eliminated. He's sitting over in the morale box. So what I did was right off the bat, I kept illumination where it covered this hill, and my infantry could move in and not be detected. While the support team, sitting over here on the high ground, he could observe that whole area. He couldn't spot the units, but he could observe the high ground on these hills and on this side of the hills. He could observe it for any kind of artillery that needed to be called. And then eventually I would move the support guys down, start moving towards the final objective down here, the last victory location. Well, one of the last 2 victory locations. So we kept illumination up, which paid off. We were able to keep the units up here suppressed, even paralyzed at time. quick enough for the infantry to get in here and close assault or put fire on them at a closer distance and get some multipliers. Now, don't get me wrong, the Argentinians did cause some damage to the paras, just not as severe as what the paras did to them. The only question that I had while playing this, we had a visibility observation question, but once I deciphered the differences between spotting and visibility, I was good to go. I really no more problems with it at all. And I'd be glad to give any explanation if I can help anybody else out with it. But the thing that I struggled with, and whether I'm just missing it in the rules, I probably should have posted a question. Maybe somebody will watch this and I'll get an answer. Is mortar teams, if they can see their target or see a hex, observe a hex, why can't they just spot for themselves? Or can they and I just missed it? Because everything I saw said they have to have the distance has to be from the spotter or whatnot. But I mean, they can't shoot one hex, but they could shoot two. It just seems to me that a 2 hex range at night, which you can see that far, that he should be able to fire without a spotter him. I know our mortar teams when I was in the Army was able to hit a target that they could see. So somebody explain that one to me. Or did I just completely miss that? So the question is can mortars, if they can observe the target themselves or the hex themselves, do they need somebody to spot for them? Why can't they just spot for themselves? Okay, anyhow. So I think this is just a bum rush for the Brits. The Argentinians never gave me any trouble whatsoever. The illumination and then some HE here and there that I was able to shoot. The HE didn't do much, really. I think I got a suppress on one. But closing the ground as fast as I could with the para, sort of like a shock and awe type thing, I think it just dusts the Argentinians off the map. Okay, now, here's the deal. I'm probably going to take this off the table, but I'm not stopping with TCS. This is a great game to start your learning of TCS. There's only 2 vehicles in the game. Somewhere in here there's a scenario that does apply to. I'm not going to play that. I don't really care for the more current type of combat. I want to play some World War II stuff, and that's when I'm going to pull out one of my other ones and go to town with some TCS in World War II. But again, if you're just going to start TCS, this one you can buy now. It's new. It's minimal. Put it in a plastic bag, and you're not. I mean, come on. There's all your counters. Those that are sitting on the side there and what's on the map. It's not a ton. Even the big game on this is not a massive amount. You got some air in here for the Argentinians. You got artillery. You got some vehicles for the Brits. Great one to start with. Goose Green, Multi-Man Publishing, TCS, Tactical Combat System. Get this one. If you want to start TCS, get this one and start with that. So there you have it. Brits just took all the 5 locations they needed to take. Game over. Easy roll through. Now let's go play some World War II. All right, guys. I enjoyed this. We'll talk to y'all soon.